Hey everybody, welcome to Two Comic Book Dudes. This is TCBD Dead Talk for Into the Badlands. So, the name of our show to review TV shows on AMC. I don't know if we start reviewing other TV shows, if we'll change the name of it, or we'll just expect you to expect that this is a show where whatever. I'm Aaron, editor-in-chief of Comic Booked.
Hey everybody, Justin, managing editor over at Comic Booked.
And all you really want to know is what happened on In the Badlands on Sunday night. So we'll talk about episode 4, season 1 tonight. Two Tigers Subdue Dragons is the title of this one. And we were talking about the fact that every title is some martial arts form. It's kind of cool. Not understanding, are the tigers and there's a dragon and they subdue them. I don't know. But the concept, too, is you've got two tigers, right? Jacoby and Quinn, maybe, and they subdue dragons. I'm just grasping at straws here.
Don't know. Does that mean the widow's the dragon?
Dragon lady, maybe? I don't know. Well, we know there's more than that going on. We'll talk about that by the time we get to the end of this. So, we know Tilda is a good little warrior. Tilda is the daughter of the widow. And she shows up in the beginning, and she's play acting that she's in trouble. Stops a convoy from Jacoby's realm, which we find out is they control the gold, so they do mining, so they do pickaxe kind of stuff. And the widow shows up to use a pickaxe to kill one of Quinn's clippers, which then makes it look like Jacoby's folks killed one of his clippers, and then she makes it look like the clippers took the gold shipment. So
right.
It's her playing both ends against each other, So that's really the whole plot line here in this episode is her plot to put them both at war, basically. So interesting. Sonny, we could kind of go back and forth between Tilda and the widow and Sonny and MK. Sonny's training with him, teaching him different things, and you were talking about that right before we started.
Oh yeah. All of a sudden, MK throws out a move that Sonny didn't teach him. Freaks him out for a second.
I didn't teach you that. Where did you learn that? So it's interesting. I mean, at least he's learning. He's taking the training to heart. It seems like, so that's good. Then. I thought the next scene was interesting because Tilda kind of confronts her mom, and she really questions her. Is this really the right thing to do? So you're making them look like they killed each other, and that's what you want. You want a war in the Badlands, and her mom's like, everything I do for you, and blah blah blah. Which is a bunch of crap because we know everything she's doing for herself, just like all the other barons are.
Sheer power.
Yeah, but I think it's interesting because it puts that seed of doubt in Tilda's mind. Now, will she stand with her mom? Sorry, I'm yawning. Will she stand with her mom, or will she, side with MK or with Sonny when it comes down to it? And it all depends on how things play out. Remember, we only have 2 more episodes left in this first season, so we're going to have some resolution to a storyline. We're going to have some. Obviously, some more questions and some strings that are left out there, just like with the first season of Walking Dead. They made it to the CDC and they kind of found out, wow, this sucks. Everybody's going to die. So what are we going to find out here about the Badlands? Is Sonny going to get out? Is that what this whole first season is going to be about? Or is he going to, I think last time we talked about, is he going to end up as a baron? You're going to have to excuse me. Let me yawn one time. What are we going to see as this show progresses? We don't know. 2 more episodes, though, we'll find out how the first season wraps up. So MK continues his training, and Sonny comes up, and he wants to cut him and see what happens. To see what happens with his power. So, and I think something happened before, like he was in the dark training, and Sonny was watching him, and he got a knife out and he went to cut himself and Sonny thought, okay, he's going to do it. He's going to try, and he didn't.
Right.
And so then the next day when they're training, Sonny says, okay, we're going to do this. And he gets his sword out and he cuts his arm. Or he cuts his arm here, right? And the kid looks at his blood and then his eyes go black and then he beats the crap out of Sonny.
Hits him one time.
Who just palm.
Goes flying back, gets knocked out. MK drops to the ground, he's out.
Yep. So he's like a one-shot wonder.
Useful power if you're going to be like useless after one hit, you know?
Right. I can hit you really hard, but then I'm done.
One time.
Yep. Call him the one-shot wonder. So yeah, it's interesting that it does that to him. Mm-hmm. It's like, he's got that blast and then he's exhausted and boom. So then we see it later too. Anyway, so we still have the storyline with Jade and the Baroness Lydia, and they kind of have a heart-to-heart there at the beginning. Remember, Lydia's like, or Jade just like, just think of yourself as my mother, and then everything. And she's like, well, if I was your mother, I'd tell you not to sleep with your soon-to-be husband and your son at the same time.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right, his son, yeah. So I was like,
that was her throwing out, I know what you're doing, lady. Yep. I know what's up.
Yep. So that's interesting because then we know the Baroness knows what's going on, even though she's kind of stepped back and said she's not going to have anything to do with Ryder. She still knows what's going on and not happy with it. So we also find out something about the previous wife. What was her name? Elspeth or something. You remember that? Whatever her name was, there was the previous wife, and basically, when the Baroness was married, the previous wife passed away mysteriously after the Baroness happened to be out in the fields where the monkshood grows. Monkshood is wolfbane, which is poisonous.
Right.
So she poisoned her. That's what the assumption is, that she killed her off to assure herself as the only Baroness and not have to, be second fiddle to someone else. So, will she try to kill Jade? We don't know. So, Vale is basically consigned. Vale is Sonny's girlfriend, pregnant girlfriend. She's pretty much consigned to help the Baron try to cure his brain problem, and she talks about concoctions that her father was going to try that may help him, like a chemotherapy type stuff, but it'll make him weaker, which he doesn't necessarily want, but he does want to be better, And he said, your father. This is awful. Said your father told me I wouldn't live past the summer solstice. See, stop it.
You made me yawn.
Said I wouldn't live past the summer solstice, and she said, I think we can do better than that. But then later, she's telling Sonny that if nothing else, I can end his life sooner.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, she said there's nothing I can really do. There's no way to cure it, but the only thing I could really do is end his life sooner. Yeah.
So interesting that she's kind of giving him a false hope, but then maybe working towards get rid of him. So.
Well, I think she also knows that if she was just like blatantly like, no, there's no way to fix it. You're dead. He would have no use for her and kill her at that point.
Right. And she's smart. She's smart enough to be a little clever in the whole thing. So that's good. Yep. So let's see here. Jacoby. Okay, so we're talking about Jacoby. Basically, Jacoby and Quinn are going to have a parlay. So that's what Sonny had gone to Zephyr to talk about, setting up a parlay, and then that was kind of the meeting at the end of last episode. And this one, Ryder goes out there, and I don't know if that happens yet. Yeah,
that happened before the parlay.
Right, the Ryder goes.
Yep.
Yeah,
and meets with Zephyr.
Yep. So let's see here. Well, we know. Okay, so MK took the book to Vale to try to read it, and Vale can't read it. So we know that's going on. It's not a real big help because there's really nothing in there. So that's kind of sad, that she can't interpret it. But there seem to be pictures and maybe maps and that kind of stuff in the book that they may be able to use. so they'll keep it just in case it's something useful. And we know that the widow wants it because she mentioned it as well last episode to Tilda. So Ryder goes to meet Jacoby's Clippers and Zephyr, and when he does, though, he presents a different plan that we don't know about right away. He just says, that's not all I have to talk about. He wants to set up the parlay, but he wants to set up something else too. And from this point, I was kind of expecting he's going to try to kill his dad. That's, there's been too much of this. If you want something in life, then you take it. He's like, I'm going to take it. Fine. You told me I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it. So, yeah. Waldo and Sonny talk about Escape from the Badlands at this point. Waldo gives him that little plastic soldier.
Yep.
That was the plastic army man. So this is if you take this, you'll get a meeting with the River King. The River King controls all travel in and out, up and down the river and in and out of the Badlands. So he's the person to talk to. Beatrice was the second wife. So Ryder comes back, and I really felt like he pretty much told Jade that he's going to do something. Don't you think? I mean, that's in the way he was talking to her. He didn't come out and say it, but she knew. He said, "I'm making a move,"
Right.
So, but Jade's really concerned because she's hearing about Beatrice from the handmaiden, and basically, being told, "Hey, Lydia killed her off, so maybe you're next. Just be careful." So, through a lot of these scenes, especially right at this point, Jade's walking out through the fields, and just the colors and the contrast of different scenes in this show are amazing. I really, really like the colors. Very, very cool. So the Barons head to the parlay. Quinn shows up with along with Sonny and everybody, and MK snuck out, even though he wasn't chosen. He snuck there, and he gets set up as the lookout.
Yeah.
The two Barons meet, but doesn't really go very well because Tilda shows up and tries to kill everybody.
She throws an axe. She throws a pickaxe
to make it look like Jacoby's folks did it.
Right.
Then, of course, that breaks them all into battle. Tilda, though, MK goes after her, and they have a little rough and tumble, and then she gets away. So,
but the big thing with their rough and tumble, I guess, is the fact that she cuts him. Yeah. He goes into berserker rage mode, but just like Black Widow and the Hulk, she's able to calm him down. Yep.
She says MK, and you can see, like, you see through his eyes, which I thought was a really cool scene. That it's all muffled and it's all hidden behind the rage and the kill, but he hears her say his name, and that helps him to kind of. And instead of like before, he does his blast and then he passes out. He stops, and his eyes change back to normal, and then he passes out.
Yep. So that was also the longest he had been in that rage, because he fought her for a while he was blacked out or whatever.
Yeah. Yep. That was pretty cool. So that's the question, I guess. The more he does this, is he going to get more and more in this?
So like an endurance thing or a stamina thing,
Yeah. Yeah. And will he be able to control himself through the whole thing, or is he going to be like until like one point when he comes out of it? Who knows? So interesting, but very interesting battle. So in the end, they find out that it was because Quinn catches
throwing star.
Quinn catches it. Doesn't she throw it and he catches it?
No. Sonny grabs it and then he brings it back over to Quinn.
Right, because she threw it at him and he dodged it, and then he gets it, he takes it to her, throws it to Zephyr. Zephyr catches it and she shows, and then they're all like, "Oh, we know it was the widow now." So that was
after they'd wiped out most everybody they brought with them.
Right, on both sides. Yep. So when they head back, they're all kind of like, okay, let's go deal with other problems, and now we'll come back to this. They get back to the fort, and all the cogs are gone from the fields. The cogs are the slave people or whatever that work in the fields. They're all gone, and all the clippers are gone off the walls. So, and the ones in the field. So they go in and there's a bunch of dead clippers laying, and it's terrible. So the widow has attacked and basically offered the Cogs a better deal, took all of his workers. So now he's got all these poppies that nobody's going to be working, and what's he going to do? So she's pretty much ruined his industry by doing that. So that was kind of an interesting thing. But the handmaid's still alive, and she tells Quinn what happened. She says, they gave us gold, and it was the gold they stole from Jacoby's thing. So, we kind of know what she was doing with that. So there's 2 big scenes left in this episode. The first one, I guess at the end of that, it's important because this is where Quinn basically tells Sonny, whatever else you do, you need to kill her. Kill the widow. And that's it. So he wants her dead. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But I think that...
You can tell that Quinn's mad at himself, too, for not being able to kill her.
Yeah.
He had her. And then all of a sudden, headache hits, and he couldn't kill her last episodes.
Yeah. Right. Well, he's definitely frustrated by anything that makes him seem weak.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So we've got, Ryder is brought to the widow by Zephyr, because this is kind of the part of the plan that we didn't hear about earlier. And so if you don't want to hear how it ended, don't listen. Like, plug your ears for the next couple seconds. The widow wants an alliance between Zephyr and Ryder and herself. Not between the barons, but between the barons' regents or the heirs. So, basically, the divvy up is going to be that Zephyr gets Jacoby's barony, and that Ryder gets the fort, and that the widow gets MK. Because he's still the hot commodity. He's the one thing that everybody wants.
Yep.
And that plays into the last scene as well. As Sonny finally goes to meet the River King, gives up his little army man so that the River King has his collection again and can play army man all by himself. Whatever.
I think he actually handed it back to him. I don't think he took it.
Oh, okay.
It was just a token from the other guy to say, I'm giving this to him to bring to you. I love this. So if he has it, talk to him.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because he took it out of that special little tin. Yeah, that was cool. Okay. So he asked for passage out. Sonny says, I want out, and not just for me. Right. And he's like, oh, well, okay. Well, why do you want to leave? He basically asks him. And he says it's not just for me, So payment is pretty steep. So we know that Quinn wants to take himself and 2 other people. He wants to take Vale and he wants to take MK to get out of this world.
Right.
But the River King asks him for MK.
Yep.
So his payment...
MK cost him, 20-something cogs or something, he said?
Yeah.
He slaughtered everybody in a boat?
Right. He was in a boat, coming over from wherever as slaves to work for him. And when they got him there, he was the only one left alive. All the rest of them were dead. He'd slaughtered them all. So, he's a powerful little kid. So now Sonny's got a decision to make. Does he turn over the kid in order to pay for passage out for him and Vale, or does he fight to keep MK? I mean, obviously he knows MK is powerful. He knows that everybody wants him as a weapon. He doesn't really want the kid to die. He's grown attached to him, even though he's kind of irritated with him all the time. So I don't know. It's a good series. It continues to be a good series.
Yep. 2 more episodes.
Yep. And that'll be interesting to see what happens then with next season, if they pick it up or not. I haven't heard one way or the other. So, but yeah, it's been pretty cool. Great fight scenes. I mean, the fight scenes in this one were just as good as they've been in the other ones. Maybe not as spectacular like the scene last episode with in the warehouse. That was the factory. That was really, really cool. Mm-hmm. In this one, we don't have quite as much of that. We have a little more story, a little more plot building, but still some really cool stuff. So we've got the whole thing, the widow's setting up. We don't know how that's going to play out. So stay tuned. Next week, we'll have another TCBD Dead Talk, Into the Badlands for episode 5. This has been season 1, episode 4. And if you have questions, please like, share, subscribe, comment. Let us know how we're doing. Share this with your friends that haven't been watching the show. A lot of times, like this last week, you could watch episode 3 before episode 4, and then afterwards, I think they played episode 2 again. So
yeah,
you can kind of go back and
they
watch
actually
it.
they actually did a marathon and showed all the previous episodes leading up to it that night. Since
wow.
Walking Dead went on, they started
Yeah.
at like 7 and did 1, 2, 3, and then 4
Very
at 10.
Okay, cool. And then they showed another episode afterwards at 11 because I saw it coming on whenever we were turning it off. So awesome. And then I know Better Call Saul is coming back out. Season 2 is coming soon, so that'll be fun. Maybe we'll do a show to talk about the first season. Did you ever watch that?
I did not.
Okay, only 6 episodes, so we can catch up on it real quick. All right, everybody.
Maybe.
Thanks. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Have a good one.